For sure. Well,
All right, ready?
For sure, let's go.
Got this.
What's up? Welcome to our podcast, Agenda 559. It's T Love in the building. We got Cater and John Vargas.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
How y'all doing today? What's up with y'all?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk about all these different things, especially with what's going on in the world right now. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Sir, I'm blessed, man. You feel me? God sent me 2 more prophets. You feel me? We about to speak some real knowledge to y'all. You feel me? It's amazing, man. We've been together for like 30 minutes just speaking knowledge. You feel me? Just bouncing the energy off one another, you know? So, you know, we got to shake the world. Y'all don't even know it, but you feel me? Sit back, relax, and watch what we do.
I just want to say I appreciate everybody for tuning in. 559, what's up? We out here, you know what I'm saying? We trying to make a difference. You know, first off, I just want to say rest in peace to everyone that's been affected lately, like George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna
Taylor.
Breonna Taylor.
And there's a lot of people out there, like, you know, there's only a top 25, top 50 people that we know of that they broadcast on the news. But, you know, the small towns, like, you know, Hanford, thank God nobody's been hurt in Hanford by the police, but you feel me? There's a lot of towns like Hanford that the news don't recognize, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that there's police brutality going out in there, you feel me? And they don't hear that, you feel me? Just because the media's not getting out there because they're a small town.
Right.
Because it's not getting advertised because people are not protesting.
Right.
So, you know, this is a shout out to everybody, the people we don't know of and the people we heard of.
What was the dude's name? Was it Palmdale that got hung like a day or two ago?
Yeah, I don't know if that's been validated yet, though. Has it?
Or it was a suicide, or
he hung himself or something like that, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't read the article, so I wouldn't make any
His name was like
suggestions.
Robert. I think it was Robert.
I'm
I'm gonna find out his name.
I've seen something about that today though.
That is
just, you know, it's a crazy time we're in right now. Like 2020's been like ridiculous. Like since day one, they've been trying to treat us with trauma. It's like the first day they were, what was it, World War III with North Korea?
Yeah. So actually, it started with the impeachment in January. Like the president had been impeached, and what's crazy and funny about it is that like impeachment alone could pretty much dominate an entire year. The headline, like, you know, so like if you look at a history book and you're like, oh shit, man, this president has been impeached, like that headline dominates the whole year. But 2020 impeachment is just a minuscule of what's been going on.
Like
you know what I mean? There's so much other
people forgot.
If he was impeached, like he would have got out of office. You know, like he didn't
there's
lose
certain
it.
processes for it.
Yeah, so so impeachment means when the House of Representatives bring charges against you,
right?
They actually file those charges. That's impeachment. So yeah, he was impeached. Now then we need to go to the Senate, and then he needed to be convicted, and that's where he wasn't convicted. But he was technically
he was impeached, but he wasn't convicted.
He wasn't convicted, right?
What's his name? Richard Nixon.
Yeah. Well, Richard Nixon dropped out before he would have been impeached, but he actually resigned. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, there's only been 2 other presidents who've actually been impeached, but no one's been actually convicted, and removed from office. Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. You know, with the police thing going on, there's this it's a huge divide because we all know that there's good cops out there. All right. I mean, like you guys probably know some. I know some. So what do we like? How do we? Are we doing? Is this a movement against cops? Like, how do we filter? Like, how do we make sure that we're not?
I was asked that question, and my response was, the cops gotta see, like, in order for the cops to wanting to see us like them, they have to see us like us. You feel me? Like, and I mean that as like, yeah, I know a few good cops. You feel me?
Right.
And I know a lot of bad cops who do bad things. But
right.
It's just like goes hand in hand. They know a lot of minorities and people who are good, you know, and who don't do bad things. And there's a lot of them who do good or who do bad. You know? So, you know, you have to look at it. You have to look in our shoes as we look in your shoes. You know?
But do you think cops are only? Do you think cops are only like prejudiced towards minorities? You don't think they treat a white guy?
I think it's just like one's following the other. You know, like follow the leader. Like, as in, okay, you say you're sergeant and I'm the new guy. You feel me? I'm trying to make a name for myself.
Okay.
You feel me? And I want your word. You know, I see you got a lot of juice.
It's systematic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel like some people don't even want to do it. You know, they're just like they're forced to do it. You know,
from the top down.
Right.
Right. Okay.
But the thing is, the police. I don't know how I feel about the whole defunding the police thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we defund the police, like at the end of the day, you know, racism exists everywhere on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So police are there to protect us, and a great majority of the time they do protect us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There are messed up situations. So I think, make it harder to be a police officer. Make more training, more implications.
Right.
More ability. Like, I think we as a people should have an ability, like, if there is an unjust case or something, we should have some type of thing, like special clause that we can do to push action.
Right.
Like right now, it can't just be like thrown under the bus and going to some lawyer that's like a conflict of interest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or a judge. I mean,
I hear what you're saying with the LA. Like LA, I heard LA County defunded like it was like what, 150 million or something like that.
I'm not sure.
It was like a higher number like that. They cut their funds, but at the same time, I agree with that because now like the cops are thinking in such like, okay, the mayor's saying I'm gonna cut you guys' funds, so that's to the chief is saying you're about to lose your job if you don't get your people in order.
Right. No, yeah,
you know? And then so that makes the chief step up his game. Like, okay, listen, the bullshit you got doing, stop it. You know.
Right.
So he's gonna come to a stop where they're gonna put somebody in that position who's gonna make. They know they're gonna make order and have that going. You know.
Right.
It's like in Los Angeles, in my eyes, I see it was a great step because Los Angeles is a big city, you know.
Right.
And so by him saying, okay, I'm gonna cut the fund of the police department, whatever. Okay, that means you guys have less funds to do a lot of the criminal activity that's going around.
Right.
So it's either you guys are helping with the criminal activities, or you guys gonna go out and work your ass off and stop the criminal activities to get this fund back, so you can do more. And then
it puts a light, it sheds light on positions of power.
Right.
As we were talking before we actually started, it's like when you put people in positions of power, like we have the president, he has all these checks in place, so he can't just go around running around like a dictator deciding whatever. We have all these checks and balances. And so as a police officer or any person in the position of authority, you need some type of check. You need some type of like, hey, we put you in here to protect us. You need to remember that because it is very easy to abuse power historically, and as a human being, we're just flawed people. And so we have to put people in check. But we don't do it physically. We do it through laws and through
we have to have
money.
More checks and balances.
Absolutely.
Man always have to watch his flock.
Absolutely.
I think the defunding of the police, like, on the flip side of that, I would say that they don't need as much as money as a lot of them get. Like, they were saying that, I know I went to the Black Lives Matter protests in Fresno, and they were saying that Fresno PD gets 51% of the city's budget, period, for the whole.
Right.
You know, and it's like.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how the money is allocated or how that works, so I couldn't even tell you. You know,
if you're getting 51%, like it should be a better job. You know, it shouldn't be. I'm being petty. I'm gonna pull over this car for like
for the most petty thing.
Like okay, which is March 1st. Your tax are due February 28th.
Right.
You know, come on now. Like you don't even know they could be in the process.
I'm getting it
you
right.
Know? Like I've been in a situation. The cop was facing right down 11th in Grangeville. You know, going into Walgreens. So code like there one going this way and one going this way. And then he wasn't paying attention, and he almost came out and hit me.
Right.
And I stopped in the middle of the street, and he was like, "Oh, go." And then he flagged me down, like, "Oh, your license plate light is."
Turned around and found something.
My license plate light is there, but you read it, didn't you? Come on now, like, because you're in the wrong, you're trying to justify your wrong.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because we're essentially looking to police officers and these people for perfection, and it's like, gosh, you know, history will show you, or anything will show you, it's just human beings are flawed people, man, and so you got to remember that, you know.
All the way down
and so
Cain and Abel.
And back to what you were saying, TJ, it's like we need to do something where either the process is harder. I saw someone post something on Facebook. It said something about how it takes a barber like 2 years and this certain amount of hours in order to obtain your barbershop license, but it takes a police officer like 6 months of training. It's like, you know, so you gotta. You know, you got to test people mentally and check where they're at and just do deeper background checks and all those things and push them maybe even, you know, to the limits to see how they respond when they get pushed to the limits. Like anything like that, I think would be beneficial.
Yeah, and like even to branch off what Bakari was saying, about the police's origin is actually like the KKK. So it's like a lot of this systematic type of things that happen, whether they're staged or not.
Right.
It's a result of the origin of how it started. So it's really kind of like what we can do as individuals is just hold people accountable.
Right.
Like if you are a cop, if you teach your kid and your kid wants to be a cop, ultimately we gotta hold everyone accountable. It's not always gonna be picture perfect. That's the cool thing about life. Like Chris Dorner, you know what I'm saying? When he had he was a great cop.
Yeah.
And he was like, he spoke out what was against wrong, but we need more people like Chris Dorner that are trying to take the right route. And everything is not going to end up like that, hopefully. I was like, hopefully, like, we can only be hopeful in this world, you know?
Yeah, I remember I was talking to you on the phone about Chris Dorner, and I saw the 846 by Dave Chappelle, and he was using Chris Dorner in that same light. But what bothered me about it is that I've come to find out that Chris Dorner ends up murdering a bunch of innocent people. Some dudes, like even their daughters and stuff, because he was so pissed off at the system, and rightfully so. That he's pissed off at the system, rightfully so, that he got kicked out and couldn't get his badge back because he went through the proper rankings. But is that justifiable to go out and kill innocent people and someone's daughter? Like, no matter.
You can't justify it, but at the same time, you can rationalize with it.
Okay.
Right.
As humans, as imperfect humans, we can rationalize with the behavior. It doesn't justify it. Because, at the end of the day, if I know somebody is killing innocent people and all his friends and nobody cares and y'all throw me out of the way, like I might, you don't know, like you don't see how deep things really were. So it's like it doesn't justify, but I can rationalize, like, damn, he really did go there. So like he had, like, he was a real one. He was a real one. And it's like I don't condone none of those actions, but it's just like, at the same time,
I think it was terrible. I think it was absolutely terrible. But to your point, I do.
It's like our world needs more. It's fucked up. Our world needs more of that. We're not gonna take this crooked shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like where I can rationalize with.
I was on Twitter the other day. I seen Ice Cube post. He was like, the system was. It was a picture that said the system wasn't built, or it said no, the system isn't broken. It was built this way, and which is true. Like, it's 100% true. It was built this way because if you look. Like, America is built off stolen land. America is built off stolen land and from slaves, from imprisoned people. And as in, I don't know if you guys ever heard this story, but Shaka Zulu, he was one of the kings, but he had seen this vision 50 years before it happened, and he told his brothers and everybody, he was like, we need to build our army. Because people are going to come and try to take our people. And people thought he was full of shit. And his brothers got him exiled and killed. Well, then 50 years came by, and you feel me? The white people came and took the Africans, and you feel me? And the same shit Shaka Zulu said, And like when people say about the protests and everything, like, how do you feel about it? Like, why do you guys or not the protests, but the riots? Like, why are the riots going on after the protests? It's like, why are the police doing the same shit? You feel me? Like, we're not doing anything but what you guys do. You know? Like, it just comes to a point where, like you said, like, it has to come to an end. Like, how much, if we can't trust the police, what are we supposed to trust?
And it's like one of our soldiers. That's why like, it's fucked up. I don't even want to think about what he really did. I just commend him for the actual action.
Who's that? Who are we talking about?
Chris Dorner.
Oh, right.
I commend him for the actual, just fighting this
trying
system
to go to the process, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's hard to separate those two things, though. But I hear what you're saying.
It's hard. It's just like I'm just like, I can't even fathom it really to think it in detail. But like, it's like, me as someone that's like, I hate being oppressed. Like I hate the feeling of slavery, bro. Like
Well, let me ask you guys this question. Because here, let me give you my take on America first, because you said something and I want to just kind of disagree with it, but also just kind of maybe shed light on it. America itself, like the country, was a result. It was an experiment on government based on thousands and thousands of years of failed government that has already taken place. Roman Empire, Greek Empire, European empires, all these empires failed. And Americans wanted revolution from Great Britain. And so they sat down with each other and they said, how do we make a government system that is free, that people can operate. And I know what you guys are thinking. I know what everyone's thinking. It's like, yeah, but we had slavery. I get that. They couldn't fight that battle, and at the same time, they can't fight that battle, and at the same time, try to agree to form a country. Because half of the country would have been like, oh, F you, then we're not going to form the country. You're trying to get rid of our slaves. But half of the country truly did not want slavery. But you can't fight two battles at once. The first battle they needed to fight was forming a new country, and they created a system to where eventually we can get to a place where we are now. And the reason why we are where we are now, where we can make this podcast and where a black guy can be president and a brown guy can be a teacher, is because the way the system was created. It wasn't created perfect in the beginning, but it was created with the potential to be perfect if we're willing to change it. Right. You know what I mean?
I agree. The Constitution, our power lies in the Constitution
and the people,
Bill of Rights.
Right.
That's where our power resides, but the system abuses that power so much to where it even revokes those rights.
I agree.
And it manipulates.
I agree.
So at the same time, we're like, okay, who's governing this and making sure this is protected the way it should be protected.
So big that it's like, damn, where'd it go?
And that's the fucked up part.
Like when you study the Constitution, you know your amendments. You feel me? You know what?
I've power in that.
Yeah, like I've seen a guy, he was a 33rd Mason. The police pulled him over for nothing, and they tried to like get out the car with him, and he was like, no, like he told him something, and then he put out a paper like, you know what this means?
Right.
Step away from me.
Right.
You know, I'm a 33rd Mason. I'm part of this clan. But like, ooh, I'm not clan, but I'm part of this group of people.
Right.
Like I know
it's a brotherhood.
I'm part of this right here. You can't touch me. Like, you get away from me. I can sue you.
It's true.
Get away from me. You know.
Right.
And people. I told all my people, like my brother Marcus, like every time we talk, he's like, what happens to this police? Like, bro, all you got to do is say this, you know, like, he's like, how do you know that? We'll try to question them. Like, bro, you got to know your Constitution, know your rights. They know your rights, you feel me? They know this, they have the same rights you got.
Right.
But they're going to try to twist it where when they look at you, you're not white, they don't think you know.
Right.
You feel me? They're going to talk to you like
take advantage of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're going to talk to you like you don't know your rights.
Yeah,
you feel me? So
absolutely.
when you come back and be like, hold on, I didn't do anything wrong. Why you?
Nor do I even have to say anything right now.
Like, you feel me?
you know,
like,
to speak.
You just like, my kids tell me, it's like, I've been pulled over twice and my kids are like, why don't you just get out? Like, no, like, I'm not going to roll over. I know my rights. I know what I'm doing. Like, I know my constitutional amendments and everything. He knows the same thing.
Right.
He wants to try to bully me. You're not going to bully me. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right.
You feel me? I'm not driving. I'm not smashing. I'm sitting here waiting for somebody. You don't need to question me anymore. I'm not answering your questions.
No, you're right. I got another question for you guys. This one is like a hot topic. I feel like it's, do you guys think that there's systematic racism in this? Let's just talk about the 559 since this is the agenda in the 559. And when I say systematic, for the people that are listening, I mean like there's a whole system out to get you. Is there individual racism? Absolutely. Your neighbor might be racist, like but there's nothing we can do about an individual racist heart other than progress. So my question to my guys right here is, do you think there's systematic racism? There's a system put in place out to get minorities, and if so, what does that look like?
All right, I'm gonna go first. Punch in first on this one. I think the systematic, the whole out here, I think racism, for the majority, like for the most part, I would say, is cultural.
Okay.
Something like where we're from, Lemoore.
Right.
Super multicultural.
Right.
We have Indians, blacks, Mexicans.
Right.
Whites.
Right.
We have everything, like literally in the spot. So I don't see as much racism. There is racism, but I don't see as much racism.
So if I had to tell you, yes or no, in Lemoore, is there systematic racism?
That's what I'm saying. I'm painting the picture of our generation, the youth.
Right.
But like the order of Lemoore or the order of Kings County, Visalia, all these places were founded by the KKK. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I've heard things about, especially about Visalia.
That's what I've heard.
Well, let's not go off topic because I really want you guys to answer this question, but I hear you though. I've heard a lot, especially about Visalia.
That's where it would make sense to me that it could be a systematic thing, but I'm not privy enough to local politics.
But what I'm saying though is not maybe like behind the scenes, okay, but I'm talking about the school system, the police system. Is that systematically designed to get minorities is my question. Have you ever experienced that or felt that?
I have experienced it. From my perspective, a cop followed me from a gas station one night. Literally, I didn't do anything wrong.
But is that the system or the individual?
Well, it was 2 white cops.
Right.
It was 4 black people in the car, including myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I can't say this or that, you know what I'm saying? But I know that there was other people at the store, and they didn't follow no one else home.
Right, for sure. I've been followed too, so I feel
exactly.
you.
So they followed us home. And I passed all the tests that we did. The only reason they took me in is because they had a clause that said if your heartbeat was too high, your rate was too high, then they could take you in.
That sounds like a dumb
And it was
clause.
2 a.m. on Christmas morning. I was 19 years old. It was like 32 degrees outside.
Right.
And I had a little tiny jacket on. I was shivering.
Right.
But I passed everything. Like, they took me in. They lied on the police report about me. Wrote a complete lie. So, based on my personal experience, I have a reason to believe that there is possibility of a racist or biased perspective from a police officer in the local community. I won't put that on the whole local community, though.
Right, and that's my question. You know, it's like, and we can keep going on this, but it's like, I get that, man. Like I said, I've been pulled over by cops, individuals who treated me like crap, put me and my ex in the back of the car, and I was like, wow, I was 19, and I felt like, wow, this guy's really doing some evil stuff, and if he would have did that now, I would have checked him and I would have sued him.
Yeah.
But,
come at me now.
You know what I mean?
Come at me now.
But my question,
what I'm doing.
Chime in with you on
but
that.
my question is the whole system, like from the top down, is the police force, because when people throw that word systematic, it's like the system as the police force is out to get us. Like, do you think?
I
go
feel
ahead,
like
Ricardo,
when I was in so in high school, man, my freshman year, I got called a nigger by the white boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you're talking about a student or teacher?
Yeah, no, by student.
Okay, right.
You feel me? So I took the high road. You know, somebody told the teacher, it was happened to be the basketball coach. You know,
right.
And nothing happened. And I was like, man, you know, like that. I was like, fuck that, you know. So
right.
I called him up the street. You know, we threw hands. And, you know, the coach came to me and was like, so you fought him over here with the whoop? Bro, I got benched for 4 years.
Right.
I was one of the top 6 players on the team, bro.
Right.
Like, if not one of the top 5. You know, and I worked my ass off every practice. I was there.
Everyone in your bloodline like that,
like,
bro.
I was
straight up. Anybody with the last name you got is all good.
Yeah, I was benched. Bro, I was benched 4 years, bro. Like, my senior year, I barely started 3 games. And
right.
And people from other teams would ask me all the time, like, how come you're not playing, bro? Like, why don't you get the PT time you deserve, you know?
Right.
All the time, and I just didn't understand it, you know, and I was like, damn, from, like, I think about it, I was like, man, from that day, like, that's when shit, like, you feel me, it shit rumble, you know, the football field, too, like, come playoffs time, like, we play East Bakersfield, and fucking, I start the whole season, the numbers are good the whole season, and all of a sudden, I'm benched the game.
Right.
You feel me?
But
like,
again, is that a system or is that the individuals?
But I mean, like, okay, like, I don't feel like it's, I feel like it was system because, you feel me, I've encountered with the police, too, out of right. nowhere, you know, it popped up on us, you know,
right.
I'm driving, and all of a sudden, we're
right.
you know, and it's not just me, it's friends, too, you know,
right.
like, this happened to us, like,
right.
whoop. And it's like not in school. It's just like just growing up out of like just random places and shit.
Right.
So you know, like
I hear you.
You have to think it's like damn, you know, like are you guys part of the same like
right.
the same circle
right,
doing this?
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right.
and like you do it. You know, like now these people are forced to do it. You know, or
right.
like if they're higher than you, you know, you feel like you have to do it. You don't have a choice. You're put in a position. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You know, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I say it's systematic and it's powermatic, you know, as I said before, like
I'm fine with that.
You got more power than him, and he's looking up to you like,
right.
damn, like now I'm forced in position, like,
yeah.
And now I gotta do
Power's
this,
tough.
I'm still doing some research, but I know that I found out that in Hanford the crime rate is like 10.3% black people, but the population is only 5% black people.
Right.
So I don't know if that corresponds to your question.
Right,
I can't determine that.
Yeah, right. I don't know. That's a tough one. You know,
it's tough to say.
Right.
It's really tough to say because you can. There's a lot of things you can contribute to that.
Exactly.
Like black culture.
Right.
Was given to us. Like what we know, gangsters and all that shit, bro.
Right.
We was Martin Luther Kings and
right.
all that, or slaves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we turned into gangsters and shit because
you were pharaohs,
these people,
slaves, then back
to these people gave us, these rich people gave a couple black people money. You know what I'm saying? To go rap about these things, to promote these lifestyles, and it created our culture. So. Our culture, that's why we kill more black people than anybody. Because
more black people kill
black
more
people kill more black people than anybody because that's the systematic, that's part of the systematic.
I agree with that. Like,
If you see the industry with music,
and you look at the real people who started from 2010 or
Right.
2008 to now,
Right.
and they're still saying the same. They're still rapping about the same thing.
Right.
And just like Mozzie's one of them. He
Right.
hasn't started doing nothing different. Now, I'm not down in YG, but when YG first came out, what was YG doing? Jerking music.
Right.
He wasn't doing the banging, and he was doing music.
I've only heard like a couple of their songs, but I hear what you're saying though, as far as the whole thing. Yeah.
Now he's doing now it's something happened where he's doing gangster music, like he's speaking gangster. The game always spoke the gangster. You feel me? Wasn't doing this when he spoke the gangster. He been in the game for a long time. Cube and them speak the gangster. You feel me? That's why they're down idol. You know.
But when does it get to the point where like, because I grew up, listening to all of those people, a lot of those guys, and as a young guy growing up listening to rap music who doesn't have a father figure or a male role model telling me like, hey, this is entertainment, you're just listening to it, it's just music. I didn't know that. So what I thought when growing up to it, I'm rolling around in the car with my boys acting a fool because this is literally become who I am. This is personified. Like I took the music and personified it. So it's like, is that a battle that we need to fight too? Do we tell the young team?
Bro, when I was in high school, bro.
No, I related to it, but I'm saying though is that not only did I relate to it, I became it because it could.
You didn't become it because you were already that.
Right.
Bro, when I do like when I listen to him, I'm like, damn, it just brought it out of me. I was already there, but you feel me? You're in the shadow. Where like I can't go and speak to my boys about this. I don't know how they feel. I can't go speak to moms about me because she might judge. Like, no, don't do that. Like, just I'm not understanding what's going on. But you hear somebody else speak about it. And you're already living it, okay, boom. Now I feel comfortable when I hear that music. I feel comfortable. I'm just me.
Right, for sure.
I'm able to be me.
Right, but I mean, like when we were talking about before, it's like you hear messages like that, and it's like okay, and then you start doing the things that the messages have kind of projected themselves onto you, and you don't ever hear. What we were talking about before the podcast. Hey, you need to have some responsibilities. It's more about the drugs and getting the women, and you know what I mean.
Do you take responsibility for your actions and how you carry yourself and what you choose to do in life?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But as a young man who's struggling with life, it's hard to distinguish if that's all you've been listening to your entire life. I feel like for me, it was like shit, man. Like I'm trying to get money and hustle and roll around and get girls. Like that was my mentality, And then I got married young, and then I started reading and I changed those things. But I mean, in a way. Like, how do we fight that battle? How do we?
Your third eye, you gotta understand. It's all fun and games as they're doing that, but you gotta think, and they're not gang banging, doing all this shit, rapping and making all this money. There's something on the under that I'm not being able to see. You feel me?
As a 15-year-old, you can't do that.
I mean, but you just got that's just come with the discipline and so
it comes with the experience, bro.
Yeah, that too. You feel me? You gotta become a 20-year great sniper. You gotta put in 20 years of work.
You gotta, you gotta fall down to know that it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, hurt, that's gonna hurt.
I just feel like rappers could do a better job at saying, hey, by the way, I made all this money rapping. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because 15 or 16, and I have friends, who went to prison for a long time, who embodied the mentality that the rappers would speak of. But like it was like, man, because we wanted to be like them so much that we actually went and lived the life that they were talking about. And so now your boys are in prison because we lived the life that they were talking about, but not really knowing that they were making the money through rapping. And maybe they did make the money hustling at first, and now they're, you know what I mean?
That's why it's systematic, because there's people at the top of them that sponsor those people to
encourage them to do it.
To get us to do that. That's why.
Come out and be like, okay, look, this is what happened to me when I was younger, you feel me?
Right.
Go ahead and take this route, but this is what I actually have to do, you feel me?
Right,
They're not going to come out and say, like, yeah, I did this, but, this is the under, like, I'm really struggling. Like, you feel me? Who's gonna come out and say that?
No, I know. And the bigger picture is more about just trying to take our younger generation and say, hey, let's do right things, and this is just music, man. Like let's do good things and let's check the system.
It's multiplying. You feel me? Like
more people.
Like you seen the movie 42 with Jackie Robinson?
I've seen parts of it, man. That's a sad movie, dude.
There's a it's not a sad movie. It's a really enlightened movie. Right. But there's a part in it where he says. The guy off Law and Order Special Victims, the bald guy, Elliot.
I watched a couple episodes. I don't know exactly. Yeah.
Okay, he plays in it, and he comes and he goes, "You guys think this is the end?
Right.
He's one. You guys got to get used to it. He's one person, but you feel me? In a couple years,
he was being racist.
No, he said in a couple years there's gonna be more of him coming in the league.
More black dudes.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, there's gonna be more of him coming in the league. Right. So you guys gotta adapt to it now and get used to it. You feel me? You guys are blessed with this much talent. You feel no matter what he looks like, he has the talent of what we need to win. And and they're not gonna stop here. this thing. He came out of one league.
Right.
You feel me? Don't you think they're gonna go back and look for another one of him when he retires?
Yeah, dude. There's no doubt about it, man. Like, no doubt. Like, I don't care who you are and where you stand on the political scale. Slavery ended in late 1800s, but true freedom has yet to be obtained. It barely in the 1960s and the 70s did black people get the right to vote. Barely in the 1970s did women get the right to vote. Barely would I have the ability. Barely. So we're barely seeing the true fruits of the original Declaration and the Constitution today.
You know what?
Barely.
I found out like barely within the last 70 years, Indians got their rights.
Oh yeah.
Too. And some Indians don't even have certain rights that we have.
I don't know all the details, but yeah, I'm sure, man.
I have this girl on Instagram I follow.
Right.
She actually she actually wants to be like a guest too. So she's super passionate about that stuff.
Man. Yeah, they are.
So
a lot of them are.
Yeah, it's super awesome because like I really did not know that like, you know how like we got our rights in like the 1800s.
Oh
somehow.
yeah.
They got their rights like 50 years ago type shit, like barely, like
it's true.
Like
yeah, it's interesting how they set up the tribal thing. I mean, now if they take full advantage of it, you know, they can live some pretty nice, luxurious lives.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. If they want to.
Black people need that type. We need that type of check. We need a check.
Yeah.
Because like
150K or whatever you was talking about.
I worked on a solar site, and they literally were doing this. It was like probably like 100-foot by 100-foot section, bro. And they found one piece of bone. And the native land from San Jose, they came with the tribe came down and looked at it, and they discovered it was an Indian bone. And then now the whole plant got to get searched.
Right.
You feel me? Like now they're pushing issues like, okay, this is like if you find our people on this land, you feel me? We're taking our land back. You know? And it's not just that little piece. They're going for
you got to research.
Now we got to go through 1,000-foot by 1,000-foot piece of land.
Right.
Scrape all that. You see, we find any more. We find any more bodies over here. This is our land.
Right. You know, man, I have to say this because it's tough for me, like looking and trying to study history. It's like the Native Americans that became American. First, we need to understand that when we say the people that came here, it wasn't a bunch of just white dudes. It was Spain mostly. Right. You know what I mean? It was France. Italian, it was Portugal. It was a little bit of everybody. Like, so it's hard. Like, we don't want to pinpoint.
Spain actually conquered the West Coast Mexico area. And
absolutely.
They named all the cities over here.
They brought slavery. Spain was responsible for bringing slavery.
Enslaved a lot of they enslaved the natives.
Cuba.
They raped the natives. Created the Mexican race. They created the Mexican race.
Right, because of all the mixture going on between the natives.
And they used Latin to make Spanish.
Right.
And they gave Spanish to the Mexicans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why Mexicans need reparations too.
Right. I mean, we can go. That's why it's tough because you can go down the list. But my point was with the Native Americans, it's tough because I know that it's like people took your land. But if you look at the context of the whole world at that time, everyone was doing that.
Yeah,
it was a free for all. It was like who's gonna conquer whose land?
Shit.
You know what I mean? So it was like, are we gonna go to India and like say, hey, all these people that conquer, like, are we like when do we stop? Like, when does it say like, damn man, sorry man, it was free game and you guys didn't win that battle. You know, it's like it's tough to say. But what America did or what they're trying to do now is like, hey, we jacked up, we apologize. Take some land, take some money. We want to take care of you for the rest of life. I know, I get it though. You know, there's no right way to look. I mean, there's so many different angles to look at it, and there's no right way. So man. Humans are messed up.
A lot of layers to it.
Straight up, you know.
And it's like even like I was thinking about like the whole quote unquote Illuminati or the top whatever.
Right.
It's like okay, they own the world. They want to depopulate the world, whatever. They're privy to a lot more information than we are, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they are saying we can only manage this for this long,
right.
If we overthrow them, then we're going to be the ones privy to the information. And then once we find something that's not going to work how we think it's going to work,
right.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to find ourselves in the same type of a compromising position, you know what I'm saying?
I never looked into the Illuminati, man.
Yeah,
I never looked into the whole hierarchy of the Illuminati.
Yeah,
I never really got into it.
I don't want to get into
I don't want to get into
But
that.
it's just like... The definition of Illuminati is power.
Yeah, just playing devil's advocate, it's like, you know, if you were facing a lot of problems, like how would you handle it?
Right.
And we don't know what information they have.
Right.
Because the Illuminati is just enlightened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like we're not really. It's the war on information in the world we live in, but we don't have information.
Right. They do, like, the powers that be, whether you call them Illuminati or you call them CEO of Google, like, I don't know how you destruct that, but yeah, you're right, man. Like, those guys control the information, and it's kind of dangerous, and that's why we need those checks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, checks and
they
balances.
throw information out there, people just don't listen. Like, people, like, okay, take Kanye, for instance. Kanye texted Kim. I was watching this TV show, something. I think it was 30. Like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or some shit.
Right.
Or it was some show, but he had texted Kim and sent her a picture like, I just bought this land for us and our family. Like just all trees, little river. You feel me? So I just bought this 50-acre land for us, so we can call our home, whatever. Woo. And he got later on. He got on and said, "Man, I'm gonna start growing my own food, like living in my own environment, not messing around. Like there's something coming, right?
Right.
Right now,
Live off the land, take care of himself.
Months later, we get the virus. You know,
right.
People said he was crazy.
That's what we was talking about.
Right,
earlier.
yeah. Like, he was crazy. He was crazy before.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, you're out of your mind. Why would you buy that land? But really, he just gave you an insight. Like there's something coming.
Yeah,
Prepare.
it's like he was saying slavery is a choice.
Yeah, I remember that was crazy.
And we were like, oh, this is crazy, you're crazy. Yeah. But now we're like, slavery is a choice, and we ain't taking it.
Right. Different forms of slavery, different views of slavery.
So it's like, how, like...
No, I feel you. You're right.
But like, when he said slavery is a choice, I said it like this. Like I told you earlier, I was like, there's this YG song, Snitch Nigga. Right. You know, in the video, they all have their plan where they're gonna escape. And there was that one was like, no, they feed us good, they treat us good, whatever, they give us good food, 3 meals a day. And it's like, okay, you got 10 people ready to go, you're choosing to leave. Right. And it's like one person chooses to stay. Right. You know, and I understand fully when he said, okay, yeah, slavery is a choice. Right. Slavery was a choice, and I understand completely. Right. Like, yeah, and it was. Like, that was your choice to stay, and everybody else made it. Hold on, come my daughter's phone. Let me call you.
Where you at?
You loud.
Hold on 1 second, y'all.
My bad.
Don't be hanging up on me.
Hey, let me call you back.
No.
We're doing a podcast.
We're doing a podcast right now.
I don't care.
Girl, bye. I'm almost done.
She said, I don't care. That's how it be.
Yeah, but like that's just like when he said slavery was a choice. Yeah. I know he wasn't saying like, oh, people chose to get beaten and do this. But you know, some people it's just like now. Some people choose to go to
Starbucks.
Yeah, like this is a life that I got accustomed to. Like I can handle this. Right. You know, some people like, nah, bro. Like there's a better life out there. I'm not doing this no more. You know.
Yeah, you know, man. Something like a couple points to that, like the proclamation, like the Emancipation Proclamation, when he freed the slaves. Right. A lot of people don't realize this part of history is that there was 2 different countries when Abraham Lincoln made that. There was the Confederacy and then there was the Union. It had already branched off, like the Confederacy already broke off. And so when he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, when he said slaves are free, what he said was, hey, you slaves in the South that are part of that other country, if you free yourself and come to the North, you can be free. Right. You know what I mean? Because he really technically had no jurisdiction to tell this southern country that he freed their slaves. So did he truly free the slaves, or did they kind of free themselves in a way? Because in order to be free, if you were a southern slave living in the Confederacy, which was a new country, they just seceded from America, they formed their own country. In order to be free, you had to escape the South, go to the North, fight in the war, and then you would be free. Yeah. So it's like...
But on the flip side of that, think of the lack of information that people in the South had.
Right. What do you mean? Like
they don't have news stations.
Yeah.
They don't got Twitter. They don't got a phone. You
know? Right. For sure.
Their slave owner ain't telling them what the president talking about.
No, I know. That was the thing. Like you imagine as a slave owner and you're like imagine as a slave and you're in the South and you're like, damn man, the president just wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. How do I get to the North so I can be free? That's how their mindset. Mm-hmm. And as the slave owners know, they know he wrote that. The country's connected, but it's separate. It's 2 different countries. So as a slave owner, you're like, my slave tried to leave. What are you going to do? You're going to kill this person.
But they was already trying to...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If be so like...
Always, right.
In a way, it's like, we already know.
Yeah, we already know.
Yeah, we always trying to go to the North. Right.
Get out. Like, everybody's thinking, like, we get to that North Star. We follow that North Star today.
Absolutely,
like, bro,
man.
we over here. We
absolutely.
Cross this line,
like, my great-grandfather was born into slavery in Louisiana.
That's crazy, dude.
Actual fact. You know,
yeah, slavery sucked, man. I don't give a shit what part of the... I'm going to let TJ finish, but I don't care what part of the political spectrum or what they... That is a stain on American history. Well, it really is.
Let me just... Go ahead. American history is fucked up. And all that shit's fucked up. But we don't really even know that, like, slavery literally started from black people enslaving blacks. That's where it started.
Yeah.
The downfall of the black race is that we're so diverse.
Right.
They said in Nigeria they had over 3,000 different cultural distinctions alone.
Africa's a continent, not a country.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? There's a lot of countries in Africa. You know what I mean?
So all these different things ultimately ended up to why we were enslaved, sold off. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us black people were already here.
Right.
When Columbus and all of them came. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
There's black people really were on every continent on Earth, like naturally.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not a biologist, but I'm sure, like, you know, you got your skin was black due to the sun. You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of people don't understand too. Like, when Christopher Columbus came over here, like, there was already black people here. There was established black people here. You know, up north. You know,
because they didn't take millions of people on a boat, on boats.
Like, there was a lot of people here. Like, you seen the movie 12 Years Slave?
That's such a good movie, dude.
Yeah, that's a prime example. You know?
Shout out to Leonardo DiCaprio.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, but you gotta, that's a prime example. You know, like, he was already here. You feel me? He was born into slavery. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and
absolutely,
you know, it just happened. A mixture happened. You feel me? He became a slave for 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, like, when America was formed, a lot of them people, again, who didn't want slavery, but it was like a battle that they couldn't fight, and there was a lot of black people who were free at the time in the formation of America, but it's just like there was also way more slaves than there was free.
Right.
So that just outdoes, and you know what I mean? It's like you throw it out. It's like, I don't, like, look what happened, you know? And so that's a tough battle one. That's a tough battle to fight right there.
Like, to think about what it really looked like.
I can only, I was watching,
you know, it's like,
watch the documentary of it's a good one on history where the mom, you know, and it's sad to think about, man, because that's a shitty situation, and for the people and for the people who thought that was a good thing and have it in their hearts, and that's passed down from generation to generation, and now you're the racist individual that we're currently talking about, because that's a thing. Individuals are racist, and that's you.
No, and it's a thing that white people, like our age, young white people, commit suicide because their parents are like that, and they don't know who to go to or how to deal with it like that.
Yeah,
that's the thing as well. Like, people, like, imagine, you know what I'm saying,
going
in the household.
Old man to the white dude was like, he was speaking about it. He was just like, man, he was like, you know what? He said, my people are more humble than your people. He said, how is that? He was like, because if we wanted to, we can all come together and reverse it and do what you did to our people to your people.
Right.
And he was like, how would you like that? We come into your store 5 deep and rape your women in front of you and make you watch.
Right.
You know, and make you have our babies. You know, and go uptown and destroy everything you build.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You know?
So here's a question for you guys. What do you tell the white guy or the white person right now? I mean, do we, like, the person who's on Facebook apologizing for the past, like, is it that person's responsibility? Should they feel bad?
It's not even
what do we do there?
Position to apologize.
I think,
you feel me? Like, you didn't do nothing wrong. Unless you got something you did, you feel me? Like,
in your heart.
You feel me?
Besides
like you did something wrong, but, like, you can't apologize for your people's wrongs. You know what I mean? I can't apologize.
But is it even okay to call them their people? Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, there's two stories to it. There's reality, what's gonna happen,
right?
What's really in the moment,
right?
And then there's history of what we know.
Right. So I have white friends, and I'm sure you guys have a bunch of white friends. But, you know, when these conversations pop up, they feel very uncomfortable. They feel like I don't have a say in this because, you know, my ancestors were responsible. What do you say to that? What do you say to those people?
I just say, like, man,
honestly.
Do they not have a say? Do they not get to support? What if they feel like they're being ostracized or they're being...
I say, like, if you want to support, you support from your heart. You feel me? Like, everybody got a conscience.
You
like,
know,
if you...
I got white friends that are super supportive.
Right.
Some that are more, I would say, liberal.
Right.
Call it liberal.
Right.
You know, like...
Such a weird word nowadays, but I feel you.
You know, like,
I feel you. I'm listening to it. Just like, I hear you. Call it progressive.
Yeah, they're a little more like...
Right.
Just...
Right.
You know? And you can't really define shit, bro. Like, you just have to
it's hard.
handle shit accordingly.
It's hard to put people
with the
in boxes.
moment. You know what I'm saying? You have to handle shit accordingly. Like, if somebody disrespects you, handle it.
Right.
You can't change the past. We know facts. We know this man did this, did this. We can't be like, all people are like this because that man did this.
Right.
We just have to be able to be savvy in the moment. Become more protective.
Right.
Roll smarter.
Yeah.
Roll strapped. Get your license.
License, though. Get a license. Yeah, don't just roll strapped without.
That's exactly how police are. Like, you know, one black person, one Mexican does this.
Right.
You know, now you're in the search of the same, like, you see that one, you think they all doing the same thing.
Right, for sure.
No matter if they have a suit and tie on every day,
right.
You know, looking like Carlton, you feel me?
Right.
And then you got one looking like Will.
Right.
And you still treat them the same.
Right.
You know, and just because, that happened over here, so we thinking we think you guys did it too.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
What do you guys? There's another popular one that's on Facebook right now that I keep seeing. It's like, what if like someone's who's upset about the Black Lives Matter movement? They feel like that in and of itself is divisive and kind of reverse racist in a way. What do you say to that?
I feel like you're retarded. Like how else we like you don't hear us. Like I feel like the protest is a part of you seeing us. Like
Not the protest. I'm talking about this idea that Black Lives Matter.
Well, yeah, I mean like it's a piece of like you seeing us. You know, like
right.
you are not gonna hear us, so you know we got Black Lives Matter everywhere.
So let's distinguish between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter.
I think Black Lives Matter. It, you know, it's something that needs to be said because a lot of people being killed has gone overlooked. You know what I'm saying? So it's an outlet for that to be seen.
Right.
In the scope of the population, it's more divisive than it is. In my opinion, it's more divisive than it is constructive, even though it has a constructive purpose.
Right. I hear you.
Know,
yeah, absolutely. I hear you.
Literally, like years ago when I first heard about Black Lives Matter, like I was like, okay, that's dope. First thing I was like, okay, that's dope, and I was like, really though, if we got to the point of everything, you know, we could get to like life matters, and the closer we can get to life. I didn't even say all life. Like I was just life in general matters.
Right.
Like the more we can get to life matters.
Right.
As everybody. But that doesn't change the fact of what the bad people that did found certain system. I won't say systems.
Right. I hear you.
That are in place causing corruption. So that's where the twist is at.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's a tough one.
That's where the twist is at because it's like we could be like life matters, life matters, and then they keep taking us out. And it's like, whoa, our fucking life matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I hear you. No, I get it. I get it, man. But it sounds like I get it. I get it 100%. Like I understand the movement, but it's like there's just the people who are like Black Lives Matter. But wait, doesn't all lives matter? Are you saying because Black Lives Matter, they mean Black Lives Matter more than the white? Is that what you're saying? You know what I mean? Like that's I'm just giving you guys that perspective of the people that are out there.
It's just full visual because like. Okay, we say Black Lives Matter because we've been looking on TV for the last 6 years, despite the slavery and everything else. But, like, just to see it reverse and come back into history, like, you're killing a black young man, you're killing a black kid, a black daughter, a black husband, and this is all black. You feel me? Like, and there's some Mexicans who like, popped in, like, got killed too. So it's like,
it's tough.
Like, but then when you even get, like that's completely true. But when you get really, really into the details, a lot of it's media driven.
Let's get into that.
Media driven.
Talk about that.
A lot of it's media driven because if you look at like 2018, more white people died from police brutality than black people.
I've seen that.
But it's not proportionate to the population.
Right? For sure, percentage-wise.
That's another point.
Denzel Washington said this: if I read the newspaper, I'm misinformed. If I don't read it, I'm uninformed.
Yeah, who doesn't love that? If you don't love Denzel Washington, you suck. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't love Denzel Washington?
That came after the question where the person was like, what do you think was going on in the news? He said, I really don't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. So why not? He said, if I read the newspaper, I'm misinformed.
Right.
If I don't watch it, I'm uninformed.
He seems untainted by the system. I love Denzel, man.
Let's go into
the media. Can we go there? Can we stick with that one
first?
Yeah,
we can go into the media.
What were you gonna say though?
No, I was just
let's talk about like like how media controls the narrative of America, man. I remember when the coronavirus first came out, and we listened to the media. We were like, okay, let's listen to what they say because viruses throughout history have wiped out population. So that's a real thing that can happen. So we're gonna listen. So the media gave us all these stats of 2 million people are going to die. We're gonna need hundreds of thousands of beds. It's like this crazy thing. And at first, what we were doing, we're like, all right, cool, we're gonna listen. But then it was like, wait a second, it's a month into it. The numbers are not adding up anymore, bro. And they stuck with, you know what I mean?
And they're inflating the numbers.
The data is so skewed. The data is so skewed. And then it's like, now the media is like, get out there and protest, or this is your right. It's like, dude, you were just saying last week you don't want 10 people together. Now you're trying to, the mainstream media is driven by ratings and money. What do you guys take on them?
Well, I took my niece to the doctor about a month ago. It's probably been a month now. And we went to the first tent, and the dude took her temperature, and I was like, what was her temperature? And the lady sitting across the room was like, oh, she has a fever. And the dude was like, Yeah, it was pretty high.
Right.
So like 5 minutes later, we go to the next room. I'm like, hey, can you take her temperature?
Right.
And then tell me what it was over there. And she took it. She was like, oh, it's only 90. It was like 98.7, the regular number. I was like,
what?
So why the fuck did I was like, why did they just say you had a fever?
Was this a tent? Where was this tent set up?
It was right here in Visalia.
Oh, it was like a free coronavirus test tent, or?
Because she had strep throat. You feel me? So we went in there. And I was like, yeah, she had, like, we just looked at her throat last night. She had spots on her throat.
Right,
you know?
right.
And she got it last year. She's like, yeah, it's like she gets this every year type shit, you know? It's her tonsils, you know, like she has strep throat. How do you know it's strep throat? I'm like, man, look inside her mouth.
Right.
So we took the temperature, and I was like, they were like, oh, yeah, we got to test you for this, corona. I was like, why did she get tested for coronavirus?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I was like, what was her temperature? It's like, oh, she had a fever, like, it was over. I was like, okay, so we went to the next 10. I was like, can you check her temperature?
Right.
And like, they did not check it. I was like, yeah, they checked it, but they didn't tell me what it was. They said it was high.
Right,
I want the number, you know. I'm going to tell my wife. She's like, okay.
Right.
Oh, it's 98.7. I was like, that's weird. They just told her she had a high temperature fever. They didn't want to get, like, no, you're not doing that test.
Right. Yeah.
As far as the media, I would say, like I was saying about this year, it's been very controlled. Like, they've been constantly treating us with trauma.
Who, the media?
Yeah.
Right,
like,
for sure.
It was the whole Donald Trump with the what's the dude name? The Korean dude?
Kim Jong-un.
Whatever his name is, Kim Jong.
Yeah.
There was all that. Then there was Australia.
No, it was Russia.
All the world was on fire.
It was Russia,
Russia.
It was Russia for 3 years.
Yeah.
Down our throats, it was Russia. It was like,
I don't even know. Russia and Trump. The whole world was on fire.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant died.
I know. Yeah,
and what pissed me off about the Kobe thing, man, because I'm the biggest Kobe Bryant fan in the world. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Man,
like, I love Kobe, man. What hurt me is because I couldn't see enough definite information to make my conspiracy theorist self to like really believe, because on the news the helicopter that they had like on fire, it was a white and blue helicopter. His helicopter was a black helicopter.
Right.
So I was just like,
right.
I just felt like I was hurt.
You know what? You know what bothered me? I mean, besides Kobe and all the families that died, it bothered me too, man. There was this guy who got on there, mainstream media. I think it was like ABC, and this just shows you how like the news don't care about reality; they care about ratings and getting to the point first. But the guy got on there and he said, legit ABC, like mainstream. He said that Kobe and his whole family were killed. He said that, and then he got back on and he apologized. And it's like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You should be fired. You cannot go on the news.
The Nakers, they were talking about called them the Naggers.
Yeah, yeah, but that dude. Yeah, that chick,
They've been treating us with this shit.
The dude legit got on there and said Kobe and his whole family died, and then he went and he was like, oh, well, my bad. It wasn't Kobe actually and his whole family. It was Kobe, his daughter, and these people. And I was like, well, dude, you're a news reporter, bro. That's a big mistake, you know? Like, what if, like,
that's like big. And then I was also thinking about, like, I don't know if you saw what I shared about the Act Blue.
I did see that with the money in the political campaigns and the Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I did.
I thought it was really, really, really interesting that like 2-3 weeks ago, or however long ago it was, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, Biden came out saying you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Oh my gosh,
right, Biden, man, he's.
Next thing you know, we have this police brutality versus black that seems staged. All this controversy is going around. All these things, you know, there's always controversy. But then we come up with information that the funding's actually going, you know, towards him. Yeah. So it's like, something like that was just really distasteful.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on like that, man. I don't know. You could go down all kinds of different rabbit holes and chase those things down, you know? It's like...
ultimately, that's why, like, the only solution I could think of is, like, instead of donating to, like, these bigger organizations and charities, get back to your local communities. Be
involved.
To where you could see the difference. You
Absolutely.
know
the donation was fake when, you feel me, like, I was, like, from, like,
they
2005, 2015, but, like, I see so much money donated to cancer. Right. And I'm like, bro, where the fuck is this money going to?
Exactly. That's the problem with taxes, bro. Same thing. It's like, I want to see my money actually go somewhere.
Bro, I see you guys donate so much money to all these organizations, and you're telling me we donated $100 million to Haiti, and we're talking about they're backing another trauma.
Right. Wasn't it?
What the fuck? How is that?
Wasn't it Haiti with the Clinton organization?
Yeah.
They donated. They donated like how much did they donate?
It was like It was 100 million. It was like
I want to say it was some millions. They donated like millions to
like
Haiti.
6 to 8 houses built.
They said 6 houses were built from that millions.
From all that money.
That's all that was done. It was just like 100. It was like 100 million. I don't know. I don't know the fact about it.
A hurricane or
earthquake.
Earthquake.
Yeah, earthquake in Haiti. Yeah, demolished that country.
And only 6 houses within the whole country got built. That was crazy.
But let's get into for now. Let's get into like some local shit.
All right.
Let's cover
Yeah.
How did you feel about the Black Lives Matter protest in Hanford?
I thought the one in Hanford was really productive. I thought it was productive, peaceful. Again, you're going to have your divisive people who are thinking like Black Lives Matter. So does that not mean all lives matter? I think if the black community wanted to come out there and say that Black Lives Matter and they took that upon themselves, I'm for that. I'm for the peaceful protest. I just think that if you want true change, you have to ask yourself what that looks like and what is your end goal. And so what is your goal? And in the 559 specifically, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? You can't scream at the top of your lungs and tell me you're mad at the system and not give me some type of answer. You have to tell me how you going to use the system to change the system. And in order to change the system, you need to get involved, like we talked about, and elect the right people. If you don't want the sheriff, elect the right sheriff. You want the right principal or superintendent of the school district, go listen to the superintendent of school district's vision for the Kings County schools and ask yourself, how are we going to address minority problems, or how are we going to address these problems? And then that's true change, you know what I mean? So the movement was great, the protest specifically, but it's like you ask yourself, what is your goal for the protest, and then how are you going to accomplish that goal?
What is that going to be a catalyst for?
Exactly.
And like, damn, I lost my thought about that.
The protest,
basically just with the protests, like, if you are going to change the system,
right.
if you don't like the system,
right.
propose a better system.
Right. Or use the system to change the people within the system.
If you
know what I mean?
You're not going to try to change, like, use the system.
Right.
Don't just complain about the system.
Right.
Figure out a system.
Right.
And if you can't really figure out one, then get involved and let's alter the system. You know what I'm saying?
Get involved. The people who are at the top of a lot of these places right now, it's the baby boomer generation. They're older people, and we're not knocking them. They did their due. They pay their dues. But it's time for guys and girls like us to come in and step into these leadership roles and start making changes that we feel will make an impact. And we can do it. You know, we got to stand up, and we can definitely do it if that's what you want. It's like that's the question that I feel like people need to ask themselves. It's like, is that what you want, or do you just want to scream? Because if you just want to scream, then you're just throwing a tantrum like a little kid.
Exactly. I posted a status on Facebook that said, because like I had a bunch of people in my community talking about rioting and looting as soon as it was out, you know, and I'm like, okay, y'all. So at which point will rioting and looting create the results? Right. We are looking for the actual real results, and what do those results look like in real life?
That's a great question to ask, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and like,
for sure.
we gotta once we figure out what those results look like, we'll know that rioting and looting is not the answer at all, because our goal is to strengthen our communities and hold more people accountable and for things to be safer tomorrow, not us to be looking over our shoulder.
Right, dude. Like it's like we have money being funneled in and stuff like that, like the welfare system, and then the money we put in education. We need to just relook at that and say, how can we make this more efficient?
And how can we apply it?
How can we apply better? So like let's you know what we need to do? We need to make childcare free, man. We need, because kids are growing up with no dads and no moms. Let's somehow take that money and let's say, you know what, we're gonna invest the hell out of our children. Children are gonna grow up in good daycare centers.
Let's use that 51% we give to the police.
Whatever.
2%.
Let's start using
and give it to just children, just
because money is thrown everywhere. You know, it's like let's just make it more. It's there, but let's make it more efficient. Like childcare, man. As a mom or a single dad. As a mom, particularly, you guys know this. I mean, my mom pretty much raised me. If you're raising a couple of boys by yourself, you know, statistically speaking, and they don't have a father, if you're gonna throw them in the statistics, they're not gonna end up very well. And so it's like, let's invest in those people, man. Let's put them into some child care around some good
listen
foundation.
To their stories. All you gotta do is listen to them. You feel me? Not everybody comes from a fucking white red door and a picket fence.
Straight up, dude.
You know, you
absolutely.
gotta listen to what happens. You feel me? I actually sat down and listened to a homeless man, and he was like, I don't know business. I was like, what happened, bro? He's like, you know, it was my fault, you know, like, I just got big-headed. I started doing drugs with women, and I overcame myself, and I was trying to do this and this to make ends meet, you know, and I ended up here.
Right.
You know, but if I had to make any changes, I just do this, you know. Like, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me because I lived the best life I could have lived.
Right.
You know, he's like, I did everything. It's like he told me straight, like, everything you imagined you wanted to do, I did.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
I always get that from the OGs too.
I lived my life, you know, and it's like, so this position I am now, like, it doesn't hurt me because I already know what it's like to be up there.
Yeah.
You know, I lived that for many years. You know, I had that experience, and also if I was to live it again, it wouldn't be nothing new to me.
Right. For me, I couldn't end up being homeless. Like I couldn't have wrote this whole book of my life, and then the last chapter is me being homeless. I'd have been pissed off. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not justifying.
I didn't pay attention somewhere.
So yesterday, though, but to keep it local, like yesterday, man, I was driving downtown Lemoore, and it was vibing, and I was like, Jack in the Box was packed, 7-Eleven was packed. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. The government's allowing us to come out and play again. You know what I mean? I was just, you know, to keep it like,
for real.
You know, as a small
people in,
you know, Joe Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Jones. You know, who's
my
our boy. Yeah, he's your quarterback. He was my quarterback as a junior. Shout out to Joe Jones in the Vineyard Nate in Lemoore.
Yeah.
But
Stephanie.
Yeah, he you know, as a small business owner who owns a restaurant and the government tells you that you need to shut down, like, you're the person who's getting hurt the most. Like, Amazon's going to be fine. Applebee's will be fine. These companies are going to be fine. It's the Vineyard Inn in Lemoore, California, or...
trying to put food on their table.
Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, you're telling me I can't serve food? And so, like, shout out to all those guys who are reopening back up.
And they've been going strong with the Vineyard.
Yeah.
They've been going strong for... How many years have they been open? They've been open.
Man, they're like since the beginning.
Yeah, since the beginning.
Yeah. And Joe changed a lot of it in there too. It looks more like contemporary.
Oh yeah.
It kind of looked like, you know, a little older, a little catered to the older generation. It's vibing in there now. There's a bar in there, so he's vibing in there now for sure.
I've been there probably like 2 years ago. I need to go back.
Yeah, it looks nicer now too. Like it just tailors more to us. Feels more like, oh, we can come in here and vibe. You know what I mean? Instead of we're not going there midday having a cup of tea or something like that.
Right. And also, just to go back to the protest, the officer that spoke, he brought up a good point. He brought up the point that, like, a lot of their, like, board positions for people that make changes and stuff, they're elected by default because of lack of initiative. Right. People really wanting to care about this stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Us getting more involved in our cities, more involved in our, you know, NAACP. They have meetings every month. You can attend. I believe it's the third Thursday of the month. I think
it's the third.
Your town has meetings. You know what I mean? Like your town has, your city hall has meetings.
Pull up and really know what's going on.
I have put on Facebook, like, and I got a lot of backlash. Just like I said, all my black people and all my Mexicans, we should come together and not vote. And what I meant by that is, we shouldn't vote for certain things as an aspect because half you motherfuckers don't even vote anyway. Right. So you feel me? Like, that should never slap you in the face.
Right. People just get mad for no reason.
Yeah, you know, it's like the people who do vote, like, who actually go out there.
Somebody that never voted.
Right. Yeah, getting mad as fuck. Like, oh, why? Like, shut up. Right. You know what I mean? But, like, the people who do vote, we got to stand together on certain shit because, you know, like, you listen to the Congress and people talk, you know, like, their big speeches be like, okay, we got to go over to Chicago and get the minority vote in Chicago. We got to go to California, get the minority vote in California. If we sit together and we don't vote for these people, you feel me? They're going to come to us like, hey, John, you know, you got these people behind you. What can we do to get your vote? You know, oh, you know, we got to make this change.
This is what we want.
Yeah, we're not going to vote until we see this happen. You know, and it's like, I was telling Ashley this. I was like, Ashley, you're smart as fuck, you know, like, you should, like, as much work as you're doing, you feel me? You should.
Yeah, shout out Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley Neely, shout out to you.
Shout out Ashley. I don't know you, but
shout out to you.
Her and Trey set up the Black Lives Matter protest in Hanford.
I was part of that too, you know what I mean? Me and TT did that shit too, and shout yourself out. You know, but I was telling her, I was like, as much work as you do and you did these last 5 days, I was like, you can adjust that and have a whole group of people behind you and we can push you for mayor and you can change this shit. Right. You know, this can be your change. Like, you're saying, what can we do for change? I was like, real shit, like, as much shit as you did in 6 days, imagine what you can do in 6 months. Yeah. And you got a whole crew of people behind you, you feel me, that got your back. We can vote you in the office and we can get that change.
Yeah, I want to make a point on that, man, because it's such a great point, dude. Such a great point. Because whether you do that or not, politicians are already doing it to you. So you might as well come together and do it to us. You might as well come together and say, okay, we're going to come together like an Iowa caucus, the way they set up their political system. What they do in their state is they all come together. Politicians go into living rooms, into houses, and they try to convince the people, and then the people convince each other, like, who's the best candidate after they just did that. That's why Iowa caucus is one of the first things that happens during primary president's elections. They go there first. It's always about Iowa. It's like, who the hell is about Iowa?
Right.
But it's because the people come together there and they listen, and then they convince each other, like we're doing here. It's like, hey,
wow.
we should vote for that guy because he's meeting our agenda.
You never heard of that? Like, you watch the
No,
news,
I
like,
never
yeah,
heard of that.
so-
watch on election day, watch the news, and they be like, okay, whoever conquers is Iowa, Connecticut, and
The Iowa caucus is the
yeah,
first one.
Yeah, whoever gets Iowa is most likely to win. Whoever gets Connecticut is most likely to win. Boom,
That's
boom.
And so what they do is, so they come
I didn't
together,
know
they
that.
have to be convinced as politicians, and it's a small state with a little population, so it's probably easy, and they come together and say, well, we can do that as a Central Valley, and elect our representative,
Yeah.
and we should all be there and be like, all right, 20...
We gotta definitely have enough people that could just push the issue.
or just powerful
So,
people, small, powerful, minority people, and you say, hey, all right, 21st, who's our TJ Cox is our current representative in the House of Representatives. We come together and we say, all right, man, what have you been doing for us? And it's there, it's available, but this is what we want to see. And I posted on Facebook. I said, hey, was our representative at the protest? And he was. I didn't know that he was, but he actually was. So shout out to him. Good for him for supporting his community. But my point was politicians, what they do is they tailor their message to certain minorities. Joe Biden is a perfect example. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah, and it's like whether you agree, and I love your point of view, but whether you agree or disagree with that not, it's like, okay, that's the game you want to play. Well, watch this. All the black people, all the brown people, all the white people, they're all gonna come together, and then they're gonna say, let's all agree on who we're gonna vote for. That's gonna impact you because they're playing that game already, so we're gonna play it too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If we want to look at it like from a race perspective, like I don't even know who I'm voting for at the current moment. I know I'm not voting for Biden. I just don't know if I'm not.
I don't
voting
leave
for
you
Trump.
one left, bruh. You acting like you got 3-5 candidates.
No,
You got some libertarian candidates up there.
I know I'm not voting for Biden. I know I'm not voting for Biden.
I'm not voting for Biden either.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm voting for Trump or not.
Right, I hear
I'm
you.
at that point where I don't know. I'd vote for other things, but
No, I hear you, man.
But for people of color, the employment rate is better than it's ever been before the pre-COVID.
Right.
And that's within 3 years of under Trump.
Right.
We're the best black unemployment rate we've ever had. The best women's unemployment we ever had. We have better trade deals.
Right.
We're energy independent for the first time in U.S. history.
Right.
It's like, okay, if he has his plot out and he's racist and stuff, how is that reflecting in his business?
Right.
And how is that affecting my life directly?
I think that goes back to people falling because a lot of when I said I was gonna vote for Trump, a lot of people were like, why are you gonna do that? He's racist, but nobody looked into what he knows how to do.
Right.
His father gave him
What does Biden know how to do?
Right, exactly. Biden's been in the system forever.
His father gave him $1
50
million
years.
loan.
Right.
He didn't say, here, you can have. He said, I want my money back.
Right.
Here's $1 million loan. So in Trump's head, you gotta think I'm gonna flip this, or I'm gonna fuck it off, and I'm gonna be in $1 million debt with my dad.
When people, the one argument I have about racist Trump is this. I remember in the 1990s, Mike Tyson was on top of the world, famous boxer, black dude, conquering the world. Everyone knew who Mike Tyson was. Mike Tyson got accused of raping a white girl. The entire world turned against Mike Tyson. The media and everyone said, Mike Tyson is a rapist. Easy. Black dude, 20-year-old, had it all. Los Customato, the famous boxer who had that man, he had him brainwashed to be a beast, And the whole world turned against him instantly because a lady accused him. You know what Donald Trump on an interview said, and you can YouTube this yourself? He said, you know what? I don't think Mike Tyson raped that girl. He said, I think that girl probably, it's possible that he came out and defended Mike Tyson, the young 20-year-old black dude. So it's hard for me to say Trump is a racist because of all of the things that he's done and been saying in the past that have been documented. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just hard for me to say
on the flip side of this, you know Jonathan Lott, right?
Yeah.
He, you know what I'm saying? He had a girl lie on him.
Right.
He was locked up for
exactly.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It all depends on your ability to rationalize. You know what I'm saying? I can't say what Tyson did, but it's like if I was the most famous nigga in the world, the most powerful nigga in the world, do I have to rape a girl?
Right.
But what I'm saying is Trump could have easily came out and been a part of the system and been like, yeah, man, F that. He literally stood against the media and the powers that be.
I feel like if Trump would have said that, something reverse of that, you feel me? Yeah, it would have made Mike Tyson look way more this shit. To this day, people would have been like, well, Trump said this about you, so you feel me? And he's president now. He said this about you 20 years ago. So.
Right. This was 1990s. This was 20, 30 years ago. And everyone was convincing everyone to hate Mike Tyson. And Trump literally said, I don't know if he raped that girl. I doubt it. Legit said that in an interview. So it's hard to make the racist call. Now, what I will say,
from that perspective.
Yeah, you know what I will say though is that Trump
has a lot of good people, like black people that he's friends with.
For sure.
Like,
but
so
Trump he's not a very good person when it comes to unifying, and he's easy to be like, man, dude, you're an asshole, and no one likes you.
His words can be picked apart very.
Yeah.
But that's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
That boils down to culture, and
goes back to media
you grow up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it also boils down to media. Like, I was telling my homie, like, say, me and Bakari, we stay in this room, we live together for 10 years and don't know no one else. And we go to China and meet two people that have been living together for 10 years. We're going to look at each other like, what the fuck is going on? And, like, niggas like, y'all talk crazy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Y'all talk way crazy.
Right, that's a good point.
You know, that like, we going to really feel that way.
Right.
So it's like, we got to look at where Donald Trump grew up. If Donald Trump grew up in the hood, and like, we're like, okay, we want him to talk like he's from a culture that he's not from.
That's a really good point, man.
You know, so it's like I kind of try to see past like certain like language things because I understand that's a cultural thing. It's not necessarily the heart. It's more of a cultural thing.
Great point,
you know,
dude.
it's like wearing clothes on top of who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to really get somewhere with what he's saying. But it can be all like the way the system is. It can be just manipulated like to a lot of degrees.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, dude. Good.
That's what I'm saying. George Bush Sr. wasn't racist. You feel me? Like, he's part of the reason the Crips and the Bloods formed up for their protection. You know, he was born and raised in Compton. And
I didn't know that.
I didn't know anything about that. Like, damn. It's Compton.
Right.
He was born and raised in Compton.
Right.
Compton was an all-white.
You put Compton on.
Right. Compton was like all-white.
Right.
You feel me? And then when they dropped the property rate, whatever, and they split it, you feel me? All the blacks started moving to Compton.
Right.
They split Compton in half. You feel me? And, you know, there was a certain part, and the whites are still coming there and fucking up the blacks, whatever.
Right.
And that's how, you feel me, the cats got together, like, okay, we're going to protect our community, like, that's what community resolution and progress came.
Right.
And then you feel me? Then you got your brotherly love. I got it on my phone. I don't know.
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
but you feel me? Like the Bloods formed their shit. You feel me? From when they came back from Vietnam, they formed their shit. You feel me? The young cats was like, okay, like Raymond Washington was one of the young cats. Like, look it, we gonna fight together. Whoever come out the winner, you feel me? That's gonna be a leader. You feel me? So bam, that's what they led. It wasn't no violence or whatever between ones. It was just protecting each other from the whites.
I mean, the idea of gangs makes sense to me. It's like especially as a young man, you're a part of a group. You have some authority. You get a little bit of structure. You get a little bit of power. Like, I get it. Like, I get why someone would join a gang. You know,
people don't know. I understand it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this about it. Blacks didn't start fighting with blacks until 1972. You feel me? The gangs
really
were formed.
recent.
The gangs were formed back in the 50s. You feel me? Early 60s. You feel me? In 1972, the little country died. He was a bloody little country died, and that's when they started killing each other.
I don't know the history of all that, but yeah, no, gangs make sense to me. You know, it's just like.
But you look that up, man. George Bush Sr.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds super interesting. He was in there doing the Crip walk in Compton.
And I just want to give a shout out to everyone in Lemoore that was a part of the protest. Y'all were awesome. We made that shit peaceful. There was a lot of kids that showed up. Y'all are great. You know, it was a super dope experience. Also, the Fresno experience. Shout out to the Fresno State NAACP for putting that together. It was a great event. Over 3,500 people. It was peaceful. And, you know, it was just a dope thing to be a part of. Like, you know, when we were in the protest, bro, did you feel that, like, energy,
Yeah, it was
bro?
it was a very, very interesting, neat thing to see, dude. I was taking pictures, and I was just kind of standing back, trying to just be observant of everybody.
And everyone holding their sign.
Yeah, it was very good. Just standing, like, being able to stand next to somebody who didn't look like you, and they're fighting with you.
Right.
I mean, like, you know, like, no matter if
when I would see the white people, I would be more struck by my heart.
Like, there was somebody who was, like, don't get wrong, like, I'm not offending anybody but gay, you feel me?
Right.
And, you know, he was white, and he was out there, like, cheering Black Lives Matter, you feel me? Like, just the diversity, you feel me? Like, that felt good. Like, like, he fucks with us, you feel me? Like, he don't like what he's seeing.
You have a choice.
Right.
Not everyone has to be out there, you know? And it's like, if you are out there and you ride, and it's like,
and he was out there repping himself and repping for us. I was like, you feel me? Like, you're like, to me, I was like, your energy is high. You're intact with yourself, you feel me? You know what you want to see. You know what you don't want to see. This offends you. You feel me? Like, your spirit is free.
Right.
I mean?
I agree, man. Yeah, no, the protests were dope, dude. I was glad to go and just see it and take my daughters out there and, You know, because as daughters and girls in the world too, you're still fighting for,
Right.
you know, your equal rights and to be looked at as a human and not as a whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like it's
first time in history to have that in Hanford, California.
Yeah, that was dope.
And like, dude, you see so many black people. You feel me? Like, it was cool because
it was like the whole hood came out.
Yeah, like Ashley,
you know,
Trey, myself, TJ. You feel me? Like, we all said a speech, you feel me, it was dope. I was proud to be up there because I come from the south side, home garden, you feel me, that's KT, Jones Street, that's my community, you feel me? And just, you feel me, like, just to be able to stand over and see everybody come and unite to fight for us, you know, and the people uptown, like, we love it, you know, like, it's dope.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to get a lot more, like, events set up, so that's what we're using this platform for as well.
Right.
We're trying to get, like, as of now, we like basketball tournaments, 2K tournaments, Madden tournaments, Call of Duty, stuff like that. Or like we also want to we're in talks with the NAACP in Fresno State to try to get some community walk type of thing going on, like to where like maybe we're still trying to work out things.
Yeah, man, I hear you.
You know, like maybe once a week or something, we do like a walk through the community and like just a peaceful thing to bring more people together and have us be more like united overall.
Merchandise coming soon.
So if anybody has any ideas for events or anything, feel free to reach out to us, you know. Is there any ideas that you guys have for like?
I think it'd be a good idea, like for like one of like I know you're a teacher, you know, like it'd be cool for us just to come like on one of your government days on your debate, whatever, and let us like come in and like see where the kids is at, you know, like really debate about it. Like, okay, what if you have this situation, in the courtroom, like how would you take it? You know, you have this evidence, the evidence is strong, you know, like really challenge their minds about it, you know, and then talk to them about like, yo, this is really reality, you feel me? Like, you know, you're an athlete, you know, I've been in that position, I had scholarships and I had offers to go places, and dumbass took the streets, you know, just falling over and all this shit, you know?
Absolutely, especially, in the Central Valley, man, a lot of kids come out that are super athletes and you know, you'll fall into that, you know, that street life, you know, because it's so appealing and nice and
you know, I have a lot of game money, you know, I had no game money, you feel me? Like, and you know, especially, like, you don't know if you come in. Like, my problem was my uncle died when I was 17, you feel me? And I was a big role model, and it's so, like, I was just lost, you know? I didn't have nobody,
out the window.
Like, I was lost, you know? I didn't have nobody to guide me, like, nah, bro, come on, like, keep going head up,
straight
you know?
Up.
And then, just to have somebody, even if it was 5 minutes, just talk to me, like, I know you go through this, man, it's hard, you know, just keep a straight line. Keep going with your future. If you don't look back, like you really don't worry about it. You'll have it again. Don't worry about it. You know, just like a 5-minute talk like that, it could impact somebody's life. You know?
Absolutely,
you know, especially at a young age.
Yeah, you'd be surprised when you telling a young man just one. Like, imagine if someone told us going through high, and that's why I went into teaching. Like the young man who feels like the world is against him, just telling him like, hey man, you have this crazy potential. Now go live it out. Like I believe in you. You know, that's a powerful thing. Just that small little thing. It doesn't take a lot. But no one told me that in high school. And so, like, to have someone else tell you, like, you know,
back
to you,
in the day,
to you be that voice.
To know you, bro. Back in the day when I was like a freshman, I just knew John Vargas. The only thing I knew about John Vargas was he got the most hands. all I knew about John Vargas, like, he got the most hands.
Yeah, you know, you try to
piss him off. I would look at him like down the hall, I'd be like, okay.
This is fat Mexican. Fat back in the day. No, you know, but like, yeah, and like it'd have been nice to have someone like who we're trying to do for the young man and say, hey, dude, like. You don't even realize how much potential you have. Like, seriously, man. Go unlock it. At least just strive for it.
Right.
You know, just strive for it, dude. Like, could you imagine if you would have stuck to sports and you would have went down that route? Like, I'm not saying your life, you know, it would have been any better. I'm just saying it would have been different. And who knows, you know? Like, Hanford especially. Like, my boys, one of my closest friends, I grew up with your cousin Avery and my boy Akeem Williams. These guys were super athletes, dude. Yeah. Super athletes, you know what I mean? And so it's ridiculous. Like, imagine if, you know, we just have the right guidance and the community behind us and not trying to tear us down and say, hey, let's go party and smoke weed. It's like, nah, man, you better go be on that track.
Like you said earlier, like kids who don't have dads, you feel me? Or kids who just grow up with a dad or without a mom, you know, like they lack that support, you know? Because their other parents working twice as hard for
people can do is be a father.
Right.
You know, that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem in our country right now that we're facing.
Yeah.
The lack of fathers.
Yeah.
That shit came with the welfare system. Like a lot of people don't know. Like when they built that welfare system, they came and told women like, hey, you know, if you come to this, you can get this much money, but you can't have your husband with you.
It's exactly what they're telling them.
You know,
even without really verbally saying it, they're doing it. Like the welfare system is designed.
What happens
like
to the husband? The husband's over here trying to creep around trying to provide for his family, and then bam, bam, doing this shit. Now he's locked up. Bam.
Right.
Now the husband's out the picture.
Right.
Now you're stuck with 3 kids, by yourself. Now you have to either go to work or depend on the $500 a month.
Right. And then don't better yourself, because once you start to better yourself, you get kicked off the welfare system. So now you're trapped. You're like, shit, I'm gonna just stay on the welfare system because if I start trying to better myself.
Now you're over here having another kid with somebody else.
Yeah, it's a
just
tough
to stay
one.
on the system.
That's a system right there. We should reevaluate. But thanks TJ for putting this together, man. This was a good talk, man.
And like we were just to piggyback on what we were talking about with the just like with kids being motivated or like being spoken to the right way. Something I overall want to do is put together like a boys and girls club type of association where people like us are teaching kids how to play sports. Not only that, how to set goals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How to set like short-term goals, long-term goals, like working out for different things. Like
just being a better human.
Teach kids about finances.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? About how to eat right. About if they want to learn instruments.
Right.
I never even had access to no instruments growing up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I never had access to music.
Yeah.
And I'm like a GOAT.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
no,
these little kids, and you know what I'm saying? Most of the little kids I play with, like let them touch my piano.
Yeah.
2-3 years old, they start playing the melody right off the rip, bro.
Right. I agree. Like, as an education system, we need to reevaluate how we view things. Like, as teachers, if a kid is like, I had a kid who wanted to be a rapper, and he was writing bars in my class. And I was like, you want to be a rapper? I was all dope, but here's what it takes to be a rapper.
Right.
Let's not tell that kid you're not going to be a rapper. Yeah. If he wants to express himself
this
like
is the
that.
roadmap. This is what
I'm like, hey, you want to be a rapper? All right, spit a freestyle then. Let's hear it right now in class. Do you really want to be a rapper?
But nobody want to put in the work.
Yeah, but it also, like, what I'm saying is, like, from the system part, like, we need to embrace those things. We need to stop thinking that they need to only learn biology. The kid wants to be a rapper regardless. It doesn't matter how much you try to change it. Let him try to be a damn rapper. At least he's going to learn skills that he can apply elsewhere.
In order to succeed, you have to fail.
Yeah, or a kid wants to fight. It's like, dude, look, that kid likes to fight. Yeah. So let's not tell him not to fight. Let's just go put him in a boxing gym. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Put the right teacher with him.
Yes.
There you go.
When you make somebody compromise their passion, that's when it becomes slavery. Like,
and they're gonna express it, and then they're gonna end up doing it illegally. Now he's ditching school to rap, or he's ditching school to fight. It's like, no, let's create an environment where we can learn how to make beats and stuff or whatever.
The Art of War, bro. I don't know if you read the Art of War.
I've heard it a lot of times. Yeah.
The Art of War. There's a quote in it. I remember I read it when I was 18. It says, "Influence creates a warrior, or control creates a rebel. Right. Influence creates a warrior."
Like that. Yeah, that's exactly the point. Right, for sure. Yeah, that's just because that's one of those old people thinking, dude. It's like, oh, you want to be a rapper? It's like, oh no, it's like, no, man, like, embrace that. This dude is speaking. It's poetry, dude. It's like, it's modern day it's modern day Romeo and Juliet. We don't want to hear Romeo and Juliet. Dude wants to spit some bars. Let him spit. It's like I don't know. It's just,
I think the most problem is like a lot of people don't know what, like, they just think it happens overnight because they see
it's systematic.
Like,
that's a systematic thing for sure.
You don't hear somebody, and then a week later you hear this person who got like 30 songs out of nowhere with 1 million views each. You're like, what the fuck?
Right.
All right, now he's cool. Now he's cool. Like, okay. Take for instance, I'm not knocking, bro, but Blueface.
Right.
Blueface came out of nowhere and blew up.
Right.
Within days.
Right.
Like, just got on there and started saying some crazy shit. Like, I heard his first song. It was like 2018.
Right.
His first song. And I was like, what the fuck? My cousin showed it to me. I was like, what the fuck?
Wasn't feeling it?
No. I was like, who the fuck is he, bro?
Right.
A year later, this man's blown up.
Right.
You feel me? Going strong. Everybody wants to verse with him.
Right.
Everybody's talking shit, but everybody wants to verse with him.
Right.
And that's what people see. Like, they're like, man, he blew up out of nowhere, but they don't see cats like Kendrick and Schoolboy Q and Big Sean, who took 10 years, J. Cole, who actually took 10 years to get to that rap, you know what I mean?
Well, that's real raw lyrical talent. Then
T-Love,
yeah, that's well, yeah. I mean, like, you guys are more like, that's like, I think when you're like more real lyrically talented, it ends up prevailing. When you're more of like I got to make a good hook and make people bounce to it. It's like, you're gonna. I don't know how long you're gonna last, but we'll rock with you right now. You know what I mean? Like, you see that, but like the lyrical guys like J. Cole are gonna be around forever because
some people like certain songs. Yeah. Some people buy into a certain hit.
Right.
And some people buy into an artist themselves.
Right. What about 6ix9ine? What are you guys' thoughts on 6ix9ine?
He the dick. I never liked it. I don't like him. I like it short.
He's funny though. He's entertainment to me.
I'm gonna keep it short on 6ix9ine.
Like, you feel me? I'm a real nigga. I can't, like, a lot of rappers who I hear, like, once they do all that shit.
I'm gonna keep it short on 6ix9ine because this is like literally this already came out, so I just put this shit together myself, and that's why I register and don't fuck with him.
Right.
Because he was a rat from the government from the beginning.
Off the back, bro.
But when he introduced himself to those Bloods, he was already working for the government. He was hired to extort. He already had that pre-case where he had the child, whatever, the minor.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at like a government place, like he worked at like a juvenile hall when he was like 15 or something.
I don't know his whole backstory, but I believe you though.
In learning that, I'm like, okay. And his driver that drives him around is an FBI nigga, and they got a camera and surveillance, and now he's like trying to get what's his name to talk about like they're trying to pull him when they're trying to kidnap him and pull him in the car. He's like, no, wait. He's trying to like stand by the van so they could hear him. And it's like, bro,
He's a MK Ultra man.
Yeah, he's an MK Ultra
modern day MK Ultra, just
modern day like,
with a little bit of troll in it.
You feel me? Like you just see his videos and I'm like, bro, you were never. That's not your hood.
Yeah.
You know, like I could never take you serious.
He was hired to extort all gang members.
Right.
That's why he was on the TV talking about test my gangster.
Right.
He's trying to pull all the real niggas out of the whole country.
I see that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like a highlight on it,
I've been in that situation with somebody like, slide to my house. Like, nigga, I'm not gonna slide to your house. You meet me at the park. Neutral zone. Like, why would you go all hype up like test my gangster? Bruh, if you really had an issue, you feel me?
Yeah,
everyone I have an issue with you. I'm pulling up. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm pulling up. I've done this a million times, man. Pull up.
Right.
To my target, bam. What are you doing? Like, y'all was beefing. I didn't even know. Yeah, I don't need an entourage. Why am I bring an entourage? Like that's how
you guys blew my mind on 6ix9ine right now, bro.
And then all of his records went number one instantly.
I know, but they're kind of. I could see why though.
But
you know what I mean?
You got the federal government, why I can definitely see why.
Yeah. But I mean, he has like that little like it's kind of cool.
No,
like,
I get it. It's a double sided.
Right? No, I hear you though. Yeah, what's the push,
bro? He took all. He went number one in all of Europe before he even came and dropped his music in the U.S.
Right.
If you look it up, he went number one in all of Europe.
Man, that would be crazy.
And it took all over the outside world, the Latin America and all that. He took all that by storm. Went number one out there, and then came to America and dropped his music.
And that'd be nuts, dude. If like I don't know, I know there's a lot of truth to it. I haven't researched it, but if government raised 6ix9ine and implanted him into the industry like that,
that's what I'm saying.
That is not hard to believe for me.
But I don't doubt it because they want to take so much people out. And they're like, these are real niggas coming up. You feel me?
For sure.
This is not just.
Yeah.
Here goes a cup, you know.
No, yeah, they really lived that life at one point. Yeah, I know.
You feel me? They really came out the gutter, so.
And the first day he did his video,
of course they want to get that person.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
The first day he did the video, the first video for his first song, that was the day he met the Blood dudes.
Right.
He showed up with bandanas and gave him he had bandanas.
Paid him the money to be in the video. Right.
So it's like, how do you know to do this first off? And how's your first video going to instantly go viral, number one in the nation? And you know what I'm saying? Crazy. So it's like looking at that side of it, I just was like, I feel like he's just a government whatever, and I'm not giving him a stream or nothing.
I'm not giving shit. Like anything I see 6ix9ine.
At the end of the day, like
I get mad at my son for playing that shit.
At the end of the day, whatever anyone does, like people can be in gangs, do whatever they want. That's none of my business. It's none of my business, you know? But the fact that I know that you are, like, literally a disloyal person, like, you have that in you, and you're, like, you flaunt it, makes me just automatically deflect from where you're at. I just remove myself. Instantly, if I see it, I remove myself.
I feel it.
But it's a great question. It's a great conversation because there's a lot of weird shit going on, especially this new. I don't even know what's going on.
Well, we'll have to get back to the music thing, man. We'll have to get back to the music thing.
He was put in there just to shake up the music industry personally.
Right.
But no,
let's get into that later, like you said.
He does it on the flip side of your point. His energy, he has a very.
He's a troll too, dude.
Yeah, he has an energy that is missing in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It reminds me of Lil Jon a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that, right.
You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of Lil Jon.
Jon didn't come out with a whole lot, but you listen to the 5 songs that Lil Jon has, boy.
Or the 30 songs he was on, part of, featuring in.
It was
just his ad-libs.
He's literally like remodeling Lil Jon, remaking it in a way. Like, he's like Lil Jon energy. Like,
shout out Lil Jon, man.
Shout out to Lil Jon.
Fuck with Lil Jon, man. You're a real nigga, straight up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, first episode, you know, I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
We got a lot. We know we definitely can improve on, you know, like.
For sure.
I'll have more equipment and more situated next time.
Man, it's good like this. You mean the first time it was? I feel it was a success. It was like
we're starting to sweat too because TJ turned the AC off.
I'm glad the show's going down.
He said we don't run the AC from 5 to 7.
I appreciate you guys.
For sure, brother.
You guys, man. Agenda 559.
Yeah.
We're trying to make changes out here. If you want to help support the movement anyway, please let us know. We're gonna have more information about future events going on in the community, and specific information about meetings you can go to, you know what I'm saying, to help in the community to start making these differences. We got to get out of here because tonight I got a candlelight at the Hanford Civic Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be packed? Like, what's the
it's probably going to be like, there's 100 people RSVP. So
all right, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there for sure. Me and my...
I'm going to perform like 2 songs.
I'll be there, man.
We're normally going to do an artist showcase of the week. Mm-hmm. This week, we're not going to do it to start out. I was thinking about doing like a song that I did, but we're not going to do it this week till I get more of the production all incorporated. But, you know, till next time, I appreciate y'all.
Yo, can we put the social medias on? What are social medias?
Oh, yeah, man. You can get this on Instagram at 559 or at Agenda 559.
Yeah.
Twitter.
It's Agenda 559 on Instagram, Twitter, the Facebook like page, the Gmail, agenda559@gmail.com if you want to contact us. Also, it's going to be available on all streaming platforms, YouTube mainly being the main one for the video.
Right.
My Instagram is King LUV _ King Love. Twitter Status Love. TJ Johnson on Facebook.
Mine's John A _ Vargas on Instagram, and then just John A Vargas Facebook.
Mine's _R _ Cater for Instagram, Bakari Horn for Facebook, R or is it Cater K on Snapchat.
Hey, shout out to my brother Avery Horn, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy.
Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to the 559. Shout out to everybody, man. And we're gonna get shirts that say Agenda 559 as well. So if you guys are interested in a shirt, holla at me. We're gonna figure out prices. I'm gonna holla at my boy, and we'll get everything situated.
And if you guys, if you're someone out there and you're disagreeing with the view, please feel free to reach out to us and come speak, because it's not one of those things where we're like, we know we're right and we're like, if we disagree with you, we hate your guts. It's like, no, we think we're right. Let's have a conversation and give me your view.
It's all constructive feedback. You feel me? Just having a simple conversation. So you feel me? Like, throw your opinion in here. You feel me? We're gonna mix it up in the pot, make something happen.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Well, yeah.
Peace.
Appreciate you guys.
Peace.
Much love. 559. We out. I don't think this even record. Let me see.
Oh shit.